if a city became so toxic, so fundamentally broken, that the universe itself decided to hit the delete button. We're not talking about a slow decline. No. We're talking about a place that was thriving one morning and completely wiped off the map by nightfall. This is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the evidence suggests it's far more real and far more terrifying than you ever imagined.
It's important to first establish that we aren't just talking about a fable. The biblical texts point to a specific place, the Jordan River Valley, north of the Dead Sea. And for good reason. Around 3,500 years ago, this area was a lush, fertile plain, a strategic location for trade, wealth, and power. So when the story talks about a garden-like valley, it's reflecting a geographical reality. We're talking about a real civilization.
So this paradise, it had a dark side, a really dark side. The stories handed down for millennia aren't just about crime. They describe a complete societal rot, a place where cruelty was entertainment, where compassion was seen as weakness, and where helping a stranger was the ultimate taboo. Can you even imagine the psychological pressure of living there, knowing that if you fall, no one will catch you? In fact, they'll probably cheer.
And that's the key social context everyone misses. In the ancient Near East, hospitality wasn't just being polite. It was a sacred law and a survival mechanism. Your life depended on it when you traveled. The sin of Sodom, as described in multiple religious texts, wasn't just one thing. It was the total inversion of this law. It was a society that had declared war on the very concept of empathy. And that is socially unsustainable. It's a sickness.
And into this sickness walk two strangers. In the story, they are angels in human form, sent to see if there is anything left worth saving. And they find one man, Lot, who still remembers the old ways. He invites them into his home, offering them protection. He has no idea he's just started the countdown to doomsday, because that one act of kindness puts a giant target on his back. The entire city finds out, and they come for him.
The mob scene is critical. The text says, all the men from every part of the city, both young and old. This wasn't a fringe group. This was the city's culture on full display. They surround the house, not just with anger, but with a sense of entitlement. They demand Lot hand over his guests for their brutal pleasure. It's the ultimate test, a man's sacred duty versus the ravenous will of a depraved society.
And Lot is terrified. He's trapped. He pleads with them. He even makes a gut-wrenching, unthinkable offer to give them his own daughters instead. Think about that desperation, the sheer panic of a father trying to protect the guests under his roof from a monster that is his own community. But the mob just laughs. They don't want to compromise. They want total domination. They surge forward, the wooden door groans, about to splinter into 1,000 pieces. Lot is bracing for the end. And then it happens. The two guests are no longer just guests. They reach out, pull a stunned Lot back inside, and slam the door shut. And from the doorway erupts a flash of brilliant, impossible light. It's not hot, just blindingly white. Outside, the howls of the mob change from rage to shrieks of pain and confusion. They're struck blind, stumbling, groping, grabbing at each other, trying to find a door that is right in front of them, but is now completely invisible. The threat is neutralized in a single, silent, terrifying instant.
This moment is the narrative pivot. The judgment is no longer a question of if, but how soon. In the context of the story, the visitors have revealed their true nature. They were not travelers needing protection. They were judges confirming a verdict. The city's inhabitants have been rendered powerless. Their evil turned back on them in the form of confusion and darkness. The confrontation is over, and now the sentencing begins.
Inside the house, the atmosphere has changed. The fear is still there, but it's different. It's bigger. The visitors turn to Lot, and their message is chillingly clear. We are going to destroy this place. Get everyone you care about, your entire family, and get them out of the city. Run for your lives. Flee to the mountains. Don't stop anywhere in the plain. And whatever you do not look back. The escape is on. A desperate, moonlit race away from a city that is now officially on death row.
And this is where science and ancient testimony have a shocking intersection. For centuries, the fire and brimstone were seen as purely supernatural. But extensive archaeological work at a site in Jordan called el-Hammam has revealed evidence of a cataclysmic event around 1650 BCE. The leading theory is a cosmic airburst caused by a meteor exploding in the atmosphere.
Wait, a meteor? Like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, but smaller?
Exactly. It wouldn't have left a crater because it exploded in the air, but it would have unleashed a blast wave with the energy of thousands of nuclear bombs. The temperature would have momentarily been hotter than the surface of the sun. It would have vaporized buildings, melted metal, and boiled the river. Archaeologists there found a 1.5-meter thick destruction layer filled with shocked quartz, melted pottery, and ash. It was an extinction-level event on a local scale.
So, the biblical account, the blinding flash of light, the fire raining from the sky, the city being overthrown in an instant, it could be an eyewitness description of a cosmic impact event passed down through generations. The survivors wouldn't have had the words thermal radiation or atmospheric shock wave. They would have called it the wrath of God. And honestly, how could you blame them?
The evidence is compelling. The blast was so powerful, it likely vaporized a plume of the highly salty Dead Sea, which then rained back down, destroying the agriculture and rendering the land infertile for centuries. Which also matches the biblical curse on the land. It explains the overthrow with terrifying scientific precision.
But the story doesn't end with the blast. It ends with a human tragedy. Lot's wife. In the chaos of the escape, with the world exploding behind her, she looks back, and she is turned into a pillar of salt. Why? Why did she do it? Was it simple defiance, or was it a moment of profound human grief, a desperate last look at her home, her life, everything she ever knew, as it was being turned to ash?
Geologically, the shores of the Dead Sea are famous for their strange, human-like salt pillars formed by erosion. It's plausible that ancient peoples, seeing these formations and knowing the story of the valley's destruction, connected the two. But metaphorically, her story is perhaps the most powerful part. She looked back at the source of the trauma, at the life that was already gone, and she was consumed by it. She became frozen in her path.
And that's the ultimate lesson here, isn't it? Whether you believe it was an angel or an asteroid, The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is a timeless warning. It's not just about divine punishment. It's a profound message about social responsibility. It teaches us that when a culture replaces empathy with cruelty, when it preys on the vulnerable and scorns the stranger, it creates a moral sickness that will eventually lead to its own spectacular destruction. The message isn't just about saving your soul. It's a roadmap for saving our civilization. Live with honor. Be kind to one another. Because a society without a moral core is already on fire. It just hasn't noticed the flames yet.